I love that open.
That was great, right?
Oh, I'm on camera too. Look, it's like I've never done this before, Vinny.
Yeah, we got it. We're all good. Do you want to redo that, or do you want to
No, redo. We don't redo on
all right,
the
we're gonna keep
American
going.
Heritage Month.
We're going to keep going. Hey, everybody. My name is Vinny Saglimbeni. I'm a digital content producer here at KREM 2, and I'm joined by the wonderful, amazing, how many more?
Yep, that's good.
Okay,
Let's sign off on it.
Laura Papetti, and we're doing this KREM 2 Plus special for Italian American Heritage Month. If you can tell, we're both Italian.
Yep.
I think it's pretty noticeable.
I mean, say your last name for them.
Yeah, Saglimbeni.
Saglimbeni, and I'm Papetti. And so when we met each other in the station, it was like, we do nothing but talk about our families and talk about food. We were, yes.
Yes, very big part of Italian American culture is food. And this is my family right here.
Whoa, Vinny,
it's a big group.
A few.
Big group of us. That's not everyone. That's my dad's on the far right there. Aunt and two uncles there. Those are my grandparents. Nonna and nonno. So family is a big part of us, and one thing that we really like is making food, and one thing that is a staple around the holidays in particular is meatballs. And we're going to show you our recipe here shortly, but first, we showed my family here. Laura, talk about your family a little bit.
Okay, will do. That's my little girl, and my meatballs are inspired by her. They're called Isabella's birthday meatballs, but really I'm cooking in honor of my dad, Ralph Papetti, so the Italian of the family, if you can guess. There we are, on a fishing trip. Everything in my family is family and food, and my dad was the leader of that. He loved fun and food, and he loved meatballs. So every year on Izzy's birthday, that's us at Halloween. Every year on Izzy's birthday, she has requested meatballs since she was just couldn't even reach the counter, and so we have that. And I want to point out, you serve yours oftentimes as a sandwich, which you'll be talking about today.
I'll typically do a sub.
And my daughter loves it with spaghetti. My dad only loved rigatoni, really. He did not like spaghetti.
Yeah.
It just wasn't his thing. So I will be making this later with rigatoni. I'll be putting my meatballs on this. It's a little bit of a smaller rigatoni than normal, but I'm going with it because it's what they had. But anyway, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And so you can see here, these are all of our ingredients that we're using for these meatballs.
Because basically we use most of the same ingredients. Meatballs are pretty basic for us.
Yeah, it's not as I'd say overwhelming as people might think when it comes to making
super simple
meatballs, and I think that's a beautiful thing about
meatballs.
Italian American food in general. Anyway, it's a very simple, just
fresh ingredients, good ingredients. One thing I want to point out: meatballs are so adaptable. Vinny and I both use ground beef in our meatballs, but you can use ground pork, you can use sausage, you can use veal, you can use whatever, ground turkey, whatever you want. Actually, ground turkey never flies in my house, but we can. We both use ground beef, and then we use, Vinny, pretty much the same ingredients, a little bit differently in how we apply it.
Yes, exactly. So the main thing, just to go over the similar ingredients, you have just your basic sauce right here.
A red sauce of some sort.
You're going to want to have an egg to kind of make sure.
It's a binder, right?
Yeah, when you mix it all together, you have your salt, pepper.
Salt, it's around here.
Yes.
You've been using it. I use chili flakes, but a lot of people just use pepper.
Yeah, parsley. One thing about the parsley that people might be confused about, it's not for taste.
Nope.
You don't.
Do you put yours in your meatballs? Because I don't. I put it on. I sprinkle it on top.
I put them in my mixture.
You put it in your mixture. Okay, I put it on top.
Yeah, and then we'll explain this a little later, but the breadcrumbs are what is different from ours, because traditionally in meatballs you'll use like a
dry crumb.
Dry crumb like that, but I do it a little differently. But I'll get into that here.
Because that's actually fascinating, and I'm going to try that. I also brought some gluten-free, because you can use gluten-free.
Yeah, exactly.
And the number one most important ingredient.
You can't forget about the garlic.
Oh my gosh.
This is another.
This is why none of our coworkers want to be around.
Yeah. Well, and the garlic's important because we take garlic in a different approach as well. Because I typically, I'm proportional when it comes to garlic. I'll go 2 cloves for every pound of garlic. That's kind of my...
That's child's play, Vinny. That is, but it's good. It's just enough to give it a little flavor.
Yeah.
I go 4 cloves.
Okay.
But I will tell you, see, behind the scenes, Nikolai is like, that's my girl. That's right. That's why nobody goes near Nikolai either. It's because we always smell like garlic. But if you don't like garlic or you just like a tiny little bit, it's fine. Put one or a half of one in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise the whole clove, but if you want 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And you don't care if anybody kisses you for the next 3 months, then win.
We'll
All
see.
right.
Yeah, kind of see where it goes after the fact kind of thing.
So number one thing we want to point out before we start cooking, which we'll do in just a couple minutes, is we're basically cooking a very basic recipe, both of us.
Yeah.
And a pound of meat, a little bit of sauce to cook it in, and then these few ingredients, which, Vinny, you posted. I know they can get the recipe.
So it's right there on your screen right there. If you text Meatball to 509-448-2000, you will get my meatball recipe as well as Laura's recipe.
Yep. And just remember, it's yours to sort of play around with. If you don't, I use a lot of oregano in mine.
Yeah.
And if you hate oregano, don't use it.
Yeah.
Just adapt to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we go to break, we just want to get started here. And I will say this. We're going to mix things up when we come back. One thing I have to point out before we go to break is as we're going through the meatball process, we have some cooked. We can show it, in fact. We have some that are already cooked, and they are simmering on the pan, and we can take, that up shot. There we go. Perfect. And those are just starting to simmer. But we are also going to show how we make it. And Vinny has some video that he's going to show of his special breadcrumb process, because it's not really a crumb.
Yeah.
It's more of a, I don't know what you would call it.
It's like a...
It's
like a binder.
A binder, a wet binder of bread that is actually a really cool process. But we are wearing gloves, which we said both our parents and grandparents.
You're not. I'm not
because your Nonas would not have
she'd
like that.
She'd be looking down right now and be like, what are you doing?
Not impressed.
Just get in there.
And, but you will see us mixing up, but you will see us hardly touching our mix, right? Because that's the key.
Yeah.
Is that meatballs are very, very... they'll get very tough if you handle it a lot. So we're going to get started here. We're going to take a quick break, right?
Yeah. We'll show you that whole process after the break.
Italian-American Heritage Month.
Alrighty, welcome back to this KREM 2 Plus special celebrating Italian-American Heritage Month. My name is Vinny Saglimbeni. I'm joined by Laura Papetti here. Before the break, we talked to you about our breadcrumbs and how that makes our recipes a little different. I actually have video of me doing the process of how I normally do my breadcrumbs last night. We have some video of that. So this is me doing it. That's me washing my hands, just letting you know
look at you show off.
Try to let you know I wash my hands. So this is me gutting. I'll take a half loaf of French bread. I'll gut it out. And then what most people typically don't do this is actually something people normally don't do. I will then run it under warm water, and then I'll
really squeeze it out.
Really drain it out, and that kind of really makes the meatballs really moist and allows you to like really have them put together, and that makes it melt in your mouth when you have the bite.
I was reading about after you told me about it, I was like, I've heard of that. So I was reading about different people, different chefs that do it, and they all say it makes it so tender.
Yeah.
Whereas if you use the dry crumb like I do, you can go a little overboard with them really easily, and it can make it kind of dry. So you have to be a little more careful when you're using more of the traditional dry crumb.
Yeah, so that's kind of our different process. So
you can see your bread in there.
Yeah, you can see it in the mixture here. Let's see if we can get a shot of it on the close-up here.
Here comes Nikolai with the camera.
You can really see like in the white, if you see like a little white in the meatball, that's the bread mixture.
See, in mine, that would be garlic cloves.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the difference right there. But you can really see it, and it really shows kind of after the fact when you put them all together and you have that bite, it just melts in your mouth. So what we're going to do now actually is I'm going to start browning some of these to get them ready for the oven.
Hot pan.
Hot pan right now. That's why if you saw my hand kind of going, making sure that it's on and raw and hot.
Because you want to, another big thing about a meatball is don't handle the meat a lot when you're making the meatballs, and then they have to be browned, really browned, crispy really, on all sides, right?
Yes, exactly.
I'm big on browning. And you can hear this
and it's a really good sign too. If you hear the sizzle once you drop it in, very, very good sign. Laura, what are you doing over there?
All right, I'm going to mix them up. And the reason why, I made some this morning. Those are boiling over there. I made some gluten-free because we have some gluten-free folks here. Now I'm going to just start making my normal, I guess you would call it, conventional ones. The breadcrumbs are important in that sometimes I will make them, I take the French bread and I just toast it and make them, and make crumbs out of it. I bought these. Make sure your egg that you're using is already whipped because you do not want to be stirring in there. And of course, spice is the key. And I have some onions and garlic here. I use, as you said, a little more garlic. You can use anywhere from 2 to 4. I usually use 4.
Yeah.
And it's good. I always add a little bit of oregano. I think in my recipe it's about a teaspoon. And then I am going to also add, which is optional, I'm going to add a little bit of parm, which means if you're adding the parm, you can limit your salt a little bit. Because it's salty. I'm going to just mix this until it's together. I don't want to overmix. And I can tell I've been making them so many years, I could say, you know what? I need a little more of this or that from the texture and from the smell. This is
I think that's a big thing that I notice too when I make mine. Once I have it all mixed, I'll smell the meatballs. And if it smells like a meatball to me, then I know that it's good to go.
And I make mine very herby, so sometimes if I have thyme in the house, I don't use a lot of basil in mine because I think it's overwhelming, but I'll use whatever herb I have in the house. I do not waste anything.
Oh, that's a big thing in just any Italian American household. You do not waste
And
anything.
it can go in my meatballs. So last night, I had a lot of dried oregano that I had just gotten. I actually got this as a gift. And so people buy me spices all the time. I think it's their way of saying maybe I need to cook for them, but I use what I have. So a lot of times I'll use fresh, which in my recipe, if I'm using a fresh herb like an oregano, you put in more, obviously, and I have that in the recipe as well.
And again, if you want this recipe, right there on the bottom of your screen, you can text Meatball to 509-448-2000. You will get my recipe and you'll get Laura's recipe as well to try them however you'd like. If you want to try both, if you say you have kids at home and you're having a meatball competition, who makes the better ones, and pick whoever recipe wants, whatever recipe you want, and then go from there.
And here's the great thing. Meatballs are great, kid-friendly. They get to help, and learn a little bit about it. I will say I normally have a little scooper. I forgot to get to the station. Again, it prevents me from having to touch the meat too much. I just scoop exact amount. Also, you want to keep it fairly similar in size so that when they're cooking and you taste one and you test it, you kind of know what they're all.
Well, and that's different for when you cook it in the sauce too, right?
Yes.
Because the way I do it, I bake them in the oven, so that I don't really have to worry about as much. Because like right here, like as you can see in this pan, I'm kind of not worried about fully cooking them when I'm browning.
You should not worry if they should not be fully cooked. Whether you're cooking in the, that's another difference of ours. He bakes his at the end. He bakes them off. I actually cook mine off in the sauce. But we're going to take a quick break while we continue to brown because browning is a must. And people get bored, right? You're like, I let mine sit. I will be in the kitchen. Obviously, I don't walk away from a pan that's on, but I will do dishes and stuff. I just let mine so that they're crispy. Yours are browning up perfectly, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, you don't have to worry about cooking them all the way through on the pan if you're not pan cooking them. You can just have, because I put it in the oven 350 for 20 minutes. That's going to take the rest of your time right there.
And I will cook mine off in the sauce. You don't want them to be fully cooked in the sauce. And that takes about anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. All right.
So now that we're done browning here, I'm going to put them on my pan and then get them ready to put them in the oven. And we'll show you the final results after the break.
Love it.
People who made this. All right. Hello, everybody. We're back. Vinny Saglimbeni here with Laura Papetti.
Hi, everyone.
We are just finishing up our meatballs here. for you that you can easily make at home. Yeah, you can just, we've been hearing people walking into the studio here, they can just get the aroma and the smell of the meatballs here.
People said it smells like a childhood home.
Yeah.
One of the things, let's point out a couple really quick things to recap. Number one, our basic recipes, which are available, as you said, people can get them, but they're both pretty basic. We do a few things differently in how we prepare them.
Yeah.
But all pretty basic and very easy.
Yeah, and it will obviously take time for you to make it, but it's not like this overwhelming all day experience where you have to get all these different things and do it X amount of way. If there's a way that you decide that you like it just a little better, go ahead and try it.
Yep, it's a meatball, people. Like, just get into it, try it. It's not a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, and
you can also make them and get them to the ball stage the night before.
Yeah.
And put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then
it's like if you want to make it a little quicker, just make it a shorter, like the cooking part of it. If you don't want to do it all in one day, like you just said, Laura, make them the night before, and then they're ready to cook overnight. Yeah, just that. Oh, the sizzle is just getting here.
I like the sizzle. Okay, so let's name 3 important things about meatball cooking.
Yes.
Number one, good ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot to a meatball, so everything you put into it better be good.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, exactly.
Lots of herbs, flavor.
I would say that. Your components for taste, for me, are going to be your salt, pepper, and your cheese. So those are going to be the things that you want to make sure the taste of your meatball is how you want it. The parsley, again, just for color.
Yep.
So don't worry about putting in too much or too little. That's going to be your way to...
Or if you don't have it, if you don't have fresh parsley right there, and you really want to make the meatballs, you can buy some parsley. You can make the meatballs the night before, and like I take the fresh parsley and chop it up and put it on top, more for sure.
Yeah, and like for the ground beef as well, it doesn't have, like I used like a very lean one. You don't need to have that super lean one. Whatever one fits with your budget at home, that's going to be the one that is going to be best for you ultimately.
And if you have other meat, like if you're but I have half ground pork and half beef, or I have veal, or whatever it is that you have access to, whatever fits your budget. That's the other thing about meatballs.
Yeah.
They're really flexible. I have a friend, she puts ground turkey in everything.
Yeah.
She health foods it up, is what she says.
Yeah.
And she makes meatballs all the time out of ground turkey and loves them.
Yeah.
Again, that's when you just really have to rely on your spices.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is do 2 things. Do not handle the ground beef a lot. Try to handle it as little as possible, because that'll help with the texture, number 1. And number 2, no matter how you cook yours, Vinny likes to finish his off in the oven.
Yeah.
I finish mine off in the sauce, which I don't know if we can get it. Oh, it shot's up. Yeah. So I'm going to put a little more sauce in here because we're low on sauce. I made these last night. These are actually gluten-free. And just something I want to mention too, I normally cook all mine in a pot, and I cook it and I put the sauce in it, because it's all this good stuff on the bottom that you actually want.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you must brown them all the way around.
Yeah, exactly.
Browning's important.
All right.
Okay, go on.
I'm going to pull out the, I decided to do a meatball sandwich. I'm going to open it up right there. The ones that we pre-cooked earlier are still cooking in the bottom, but here is kind of what you would expect
Vinny.
for meatball sandwich. Close that up.
Do you want a little bit of sauce?
Please. Oh my gosh.
Get a little bit of sauce.
You can see that.
There. Not too much.
Yeah.
We don't want to hide the meatball, people. We just want to add.
I'm good right there.
Good?
Yeah. So yeah, this is something that you could easily make at home right there. If you want, you can melt down that cheese a little bit more. But you kind of get the little crispiness from the bread when you cook it in there, and the sauce is like a really big component. If you're not cooking them in the sauce, traditionally I personally would, but we just did a little bit differently today. And also, if you have some of that extra grated Parmesan or something like that, you can just grate that on top. And especially for meatball subs, they're not going to be a clean eat. I'll tell you that right now.
Like,
it's going to be
not
all
good for
over.
a first date, right?
Yeah.
Wait till the second or third or fourth day.
Yeah,
before
wait till you
eat
get to
meatballs.
know each other a little more before you.
I'm gonna grab the sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
into
go
it.
ahead and put the sauce because mine are going to cook. We're gonna be off air by the time mine are done.
Yeah.
I am keeping them separate because some are, and I need to go get more sauce. Some are gluten-free and these are
Yeah.
regular. I will put mine over rigatoni later.
Yeah. There you go.
But we eat a lot of meatball sandwiches too. Like
Yeah.
they're delicious.
Yeah.
I think they're they're messy, but I've sent
Yeah.
my little girl to school, well, she's not little anymore,
Yeah.
with a meatball sandwich on many occasions.
Well, what I found too growing up is like I would bring like my nonna would actually like cook for our local fundraiser every year,
I love that.
and like while we were at school, we would go and get lunch there, and like my friends would always come back like basically asking, why didn't you take me this time?
Yeah.
Because they're like, this is like going to be the best school lunch I've ever had in my life.
The
But
one and only, because yes, that.
not to throw shade to my friend's parents, but I mean,
But he did just throw shade, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're from an Italian-American family. Throwing shade about our meatballs, it's what we do.
yeah, it's tradition almost.
It's tradition. All right, we're going to keep cooking.
Yeah.
This you're going to start eating.
Or I'm actually going to
Are you
give
gonna
this to
share
her.
it?
I'm going to share with our behind the scenes guys who have been helping us out. Thank you to everyone
Yes.
for watching this. Again, if you want the recipe here, text meatball to 509-448-2000. Again, you'll get my recipe. You'll get Laura's recipe.
Maybe you can share your recipe.
Yeah,
with us.
share it with
How
us
do
if
they
you
do
make
that,
it.
Vinny? How do they share
Again,
a
you can just text us at 509-448-2000. Send us a
recipe.
picture of the food that you
Yes.
have. And thank you, Laura, for joining me. This was really fun to get to do, and I like to think that my grandparents are with me when I'm doing stuff like this. Unfortunately, they've passed in the past couple of years, and both have passed in the last year, and it's really great to kind of feel like I'm doing this in honor of them, and I get to, say that, they're with me in the kitchen. I notice sometimes when I sprinkle in some stuff, it might be Nonna giving me a little nudge, like, hey, maybe a little more cheese there,
A little more
Vin.
salt,
But
mister.
it's great to get to do this, and I hope you have a recipe now you can have at home to be able to share with everyone else. So thank you so much for watching this. We really appreciate it. Happy Italian American Heritage Month, and have a great rest of your day.